This girl's boyfriend quit his job to become a professional Pokemon card investor. My boyfriend Jake, 28M, and I, 26F, have been together 3 years, living together for 1. He worked IT support at some insurance company. Decent money, boring, stable. 2 months ago, he came home and told me he quit. Didn't discuss it, just walked in and said he'd handed in his notice. I thought he had something lined up. No. He said he was going to invest in Pokemon cards full-time because apparently cards are appreciating faster than stocks. He showed me YouTube videos of guys opening vintage packs and talking about PSA 10s, and I just sat there trying to process what the fuck was happening. He had a whole pitch ready. Some Charizard sold for $400K. He'd been researching for months. I didn't even know he liked Pokemon. We never talked about Pokemon. He watches football and plays Call of Duty. Where did this come from? I told him that sounded insane and he needed to get another job. He said I wasn't supporting his dreams. That was 8 weeks ago, and he has made $0. What he has done is spend a lot of money. He used his savings on sealed booster boxes that are now stacked in our second bedroom, which used to be my home office. I work on the couch now because there's literally no space. Just boxes and boxes of cardboard. He bought a humidity monitor because the cards need specific temperature and moisture levels. He spends all day on Reddit and Discord. Sometimes he watches pack opening videos for hours, just sitting there watching strangers tear open packaging and scream about holographic pictures of cartoon animals. The thing making me lose it is he wants to go to a convention in Chicago next month. Ticket alone is $300, plus a rental car and hotel for 3 nights to, quote, network with investors. He asked if I could cover it since his cards are tied up in inventory. I've been paying rent alone for 2 months. Internet, electricity, groceries, all me. I work in dental administration, and I make okay money, but not enough for 2 people long term. I canceled my gym membership, stopped getting my nails done. I feel like an asshole mentioning that, but it's like everything that was just mine is gone so he can buy pictures of fucking Pikachu. When I bring up money, he says it's a temporary investment period and acts like I'm nagging. He said his friend made $3K flipping a vintage box last year. I pointed out that guy has an actual job as an engineer and does cards on the side as a hobby. Jake got quiet and left the room. Last week I came home and he was photographing cards on our kitchen table with a special light setup. Plastic cases everywhere. He was uploading pictures to eBay to sell duplicates. I asked how much he'd made, and he said he had 3 watchers on a listing. Not 3 sales. 3 people watching. The listing was for $45. His mom called asking if everything was okay because Jake told her he was pursuing entrepreneurship. I said he was doing online sales. I couldn't tell his mother that her son examines cardboard rectangles with a magnifying glass and talks about first edition, shadowless, whatever the fuck. We haven't had sex in a month. We barely talk except when he wants to show me some card or explain market trends. He stays up until 2 a.m. browsing auction sites and sleeps until noon. I leave at 7:30 and he's asleep. I come home at 6 and he's in his chair surrounded by plastic sheets with cartoon creatures in them. His lease isn't on our apartment. I'm the only one on it. Because we moved here right after his old landlord screwed him on a deposit and his credit was weird. So technically I could tell him to leave. But we've been together 3 years and except for this, he was normal. Tired, complained about his boss, but normal. We went out and did things. Now he's talking about taking a loan against his car to buy a PSA-graded base set Blastoise. I don't know what any of those words mean together, and I don't care. That's his car. He needs that car. My sister thinks I should pack his stuff and be done. My coworker said her husband went through a crypto phase and snapped out of it, but he kept his job the whole time, so I don't think that's the same. There's a part of me that keeps thinking he'll wake up one day and realize this is stupid. But it's been 2 months, and he seems more into it now than when he started. He knows all this terminology and pricing, and none of it translates to actual money appearing in our account. R/2 cringe for me 5 ever. Comments. So he just quit without talking to you first, and you're still there? OP's replies. Keep thinking if I wait a little longer, he'll run out of cards to buy and have to face reality. His savings can't last forever. R/smashed avocado comments. How much savings did he actually have? Ops replies like 15K. Most of it's gone now in boxes and grading fees. He sent cards to get professionally graded, and that costs like $30 per card. R/Grog comments. You're going to end up paying his car payment too, aren't you? R/NeonGhost 729 comments. Girl, he's watching other men open Pokemon cards all day instead of fucking you. Read that back to yourself. Ops replies. Okay, when you put it that way, it sounds worse. R/Mythica13 comments. Does he actually know anything about Pokemon, or did he just watch some TikToks and have a manic episode? Update. I destroyed my boyfriend's Pokemon card collection, and apparently they were worth $50,000. I fucked up so bad I can barely type this, but I need to tell someone, and everyone in my actual life is either screaming at me or not talking to me, so here we are. After my first post, I read comments asking why I was still with him, and I didn't have a good answer. I was tired of being the only one paying bills. I was tired of living with a stranger. So that night I told him we needed to talk and he needed to get a job. Any job, even part-time. Because I couldn't keep paying for everything. He looked at me like I'd asked him to kill his dog. Said I was trying to sabotage him right when he was building momentum. That he'd just made important connections in a Discord server. I asked what connections, and he showed me messages about some rare card from Japan. If he could get it graded, it could be worth thousands. I asked where the money was coming from, and he got quiet and admitted he was thinking of asking his parents for a loan. His retired parents. On fixed income. He was going to ask them for money to buy Japanese cartoon cards. Something snapped. We started actually yelling, and he said if I can't support him during the growth phase, then maybe we're not compatible. Growth phase. Like he's a fucking startup. I told him he's delusional, and he's ruined our relationship over cardboard, and he said I have no vision, and I'm just like everyone who didn't understand Bitcoin early. He brought up Bitcoin. He compared himself to early Bitcoin investors. I went to bed furious, and he slept on the couch. Next morning, he was gone. Went to Marcus's. I was alone in the apartment with all those fucking cards everywhere. In the office. On shelves. In our closet. Boxes of them. Binders of them. Cartoon animals staring at me everywhere I looked. I went into the office, and I just stood there, and all I could think was, this is why we're broke. This is why I can't save money. This is why my boyfriend doesn't touch me anymore. Because of Pikachu. Because of actual Pikachu. I picked up a binder. He'd labeled it high value, do not touch, in silver Sharpie. Which, okay. I took it to the kitchen and started pulling cards out of the sleeves and tearing them in half, and it felt so good. I went back and got another one and then another. Some of them were hard to tear. The older ones were on thick cardboard and I had to really pull. The holographic ones made this specific crunch when they bent. I don't know how long I was in there. Shredded cardboard all over the floor. Holographic pieces everywhere, like a confetti factory exploded. I took pictures and texted them to Jake. Said, this is what I think of your investment. Then blocked him. He came home 20 minutes later. Saw the kitchen. Made this sound I've never heard a person make. Like a choked gasp. Fell to his knees and started picking up pieces with shaking hands. Trying to match them together like he could fix them. Crying. Actual tears. Saying, oh my God, oh my God. That's when Marcus came in and said, what the fuck did you do? I said, they're just cards. Marcus said, do you have any idea what those were worth? Apparently, the binders I grabbed were Jake's vintage collection. First edition holographics from the 1990s base set. Marcus was pulling up sold listings on his phone. A torn Charizard sold for $6K in worse condition. A Blastoise worth $3K. Some Japanese cards that were rare misprints worth thousands each. Jake was still on the floor hyperventilating, and Marcus told me I needed to leave before Jake completely lost it. So I grabbed my purse and left. I've been at my sister's for 4 days. My sister's husband is a lawyer, and when I told him what happened, he got quiet and asked if Jake could sue me for destruction of property. I said they're just cards. He said if they're worth what Marcus claimed, it's definitely enough to sue over. He estimated maybe $50K on the low end. $50,000. Jake's parents called me. His mom was crying. His dad said they're consulting a lawyer. Jake's brother called and threatened me. Jake hasn't contacted me directly at all. I don't know what to do. I can't afford a lawyer. My dad was silent for a full minute and then said I need to figure out how to make this right, and he's disappointed in me. I haven't slept, been calling out of work. Threw up yesterday from stress, and I don't even know what I'm looking for posting this again. I just have nowhere else to put it. R/Demetrius21 comments. You committed a felony over Pokemon cards. Ops replies. I didn't think they were actually worth anything. He never showed me receipts, just eBay listings that could have been bullshit. R/BrightonWitch comments. They're just cards, girl. You better hope his lawyer also thinks they're just cards. R/RavenMama comments. Did he have insurance on the collection? Ops replies, I have no idea. We never talked about insuring cards because I thought the whole thing was fake. R/ohmygosh. Comments. Honestly, he was clearly having some kind of breakdown, but you just handed him the winning lottery ticket for a lawsuit. You're so fucked. R/Pinkied_22. Comments. $50,000 because you couldn't just break up with him like a normal person. Incredible. Ops replies, I wasn't thinking. I was just so angry about the bills and I wanted to hurt him, and I didn't believe they were actually valuable. Update. Jake's valuable collection was funded by a credit card he opened in my name. Writing this from a Starbucks because I still can't go home. My sister's husband is on the phone with someone right now, and my sister keeps looking at me like I'm a stranger. Jake's dad called my dad. They apparently know each other from some work thing years ago. Small world. Jake's dad said they're pursuing legal action, and my dad needed to control his daughter. My dad called me furious and said I needed documentation of exactly what was destroyed, and proof the cards weren't worth what Jake claimed. Because $50K could ruin my life. So I waited until Jake would be at his parents' and went back to the apartment with my sister, looking for receipts. any proof of what he actually paid versus what he said they were worth. Found his filing cabinet, started going through it. Regular credit card statements first, thousands in charges to card shops and eBay. Then I found statements for a Capital One card I had never seen before. I thought maybe it was old. Maybe I'd just forgotten about it. And then I saw the name on the account and I just, stopped. My name. And then I looked closer and it was my social security number too, which he knew because we did our taxes together last year on his laptop. And I'm just standing there in this destroyed office with torn card pieces still on the floor going, what the fuck, what the fuck? The card was opened in March. Balance, $26,000. My sister looked over my shoulder and said, we need to call the police right now. I kept looking. Another card, Chase, also in my name, opened in February, $18K balance, and a rejection letter for an American Express in my name from January. Rejected for insufficient credit history. He tried to open 3 cards. 2 went through, $44,000, 5 months. That's how he funded his investment phase. Not with his savings, or not only his savings, with my stolen credit. I was paying rent while he was buying cards on credit cards in my name. My sister called her husband immediately. Her husband explained, I'm a victim of identity theft, but I also destroyed the items purchased with the fraudulent cards, which complicates things because the evidence is gone. I called Jake and he didn't answer. Called his parents' house, and his mom said I'm a liar, and Jake would never do that, and I'm just trying to get out of paying for what I destroyed. I told her to ask him about the Capital One card. She hung up. An hour later, Jake texted from a number I don't recognize. Said we need to talk. I said, tell me about the credit cards. He tried calling and I didn't pick up, so he texted a long message. He said he was going to pay them off before I found out. Said it wasn't fraud because we're common law married since we've lived together over a year. My sister's husband said that's not how common law marriage works, and also our state doesn't have it. He said he only did it because I wouldn't support his business plan and he needed capital. Said if I hadn't destroyed the collection, he could have sold pieces and started paying down the cards. Then he said if I file a police report for fraud, he'll proceed with the lawsuit and we'll both be fucked. If I don't report it and just pay quietly, he'll forget about the collection and we can move on. He's blackmailing me. Committed identity theft and now saying if I report it, he'll sue me for destroying the evidence of his crime. My sister's husband says Jake is an idiot for putting that in writing. He screenshotted everything. Says we're filing the report regardless because I can't eat $44K of debt that will destroy my credit for years. Jake's parents called my parents again. Screaming match? My mom called me crying saying, can't I just apologize and make it go away? I tried explaining the fraud and she said maybe it was a misunderstanding and Jake meant well. Meant well? He stole my identity. I don't know what happens next. I don't have an apartment anymore. My savings are gone from paying bills he should have split. My credit is fucked. There might be criminal charges against Jake, but that doesn't unfuck my credit score. Marcus texted me and said I should have just broken up with him like an adult instead of destroying his stuff, and now everyone's lives are ruined. I didn't respond. That's the end of this absolute trash fire. Thanks for sticking around. Hope I didn't waste your time. Sound off in the comments. If you're down for more stories like this, hit that follow button or at least drop a like so I know people actually give a damn. Later, guys.